Hello.
Hi, giggly witches. Welcome to episode 45. The crowd
It's
goes
crazy in here.
wild.
Guys, please. We have to get started.
Enough. No photos, please.
After the show.
I'll sign
Thank
autographs after the show.
What do
you do
it's
next
episode
usually?
45 / season 2 episode what? I don't know. Exactly. That's all we need to know.
2 something.
That's all we need to know. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're getting it together here.
I don't know what it is right now.
Today we're going to talk about, our topic is magical self-care when the world feels heavy, because there's a lot going on in the world right now. I know we're all sensitive witches who can get sort of consumed by it, feel a lot of pressure on ourselves, feeling maybe hopeless or like we have the weight of the world on our shoulders, and how do I fix this when no one person could ever do that. So we wanted to talk about ways to take care of our own energy, because that's when we can be the best and do the most for others, is when we take good care of ourselves and have good balance and boundaries. But before we talk about that, we're going to have some silly goofy time, because boy, do we need it.
Silly goofy time.
Step number 1.
You know what? That's step number 1.
Have some silly goofy time.
Have
really
some silly
important.
goofy
That's
time.
how I've gotten through all the hardest parts of my life.
Okay.
It
is
watching
really important.
and consuming things that just make me laugh really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we laugh so we don't cry,
used to
right?
say that all the time. We didn't laugh,
I
we'd cry.
think about that all the time when I'm crying, and I'm like, oh no, I should be laughing. Every day when I'm having my daily cry.
I sit in the shower and I cry.
It is. It's really good to cry. And
It's
I actually
good to cry,
don't cry
though,
every
I
day.
think.
Well, I kind of do, but a lot of times it's happy tears because something has inspired me, or I'm looking at Boo and I'm like, I can't believe you live with me, or, whatever.
Laughing. Yeah.
Or I'm laughing.
Yeah.
What do you got for silly goofy time today, Pam?
Yeah. Well, one thing I did want to talk about that I think we could collaborate on this silly goofy time is just how funny people on the internet are, and the current trends in TikTok comments.
I'm behind
that
on
I think
this,
are
but
really,
I do have
really
to say,
funny. I have.
Yes, the internet can be a lot, and like we all probably spend too much time on it, but it does make me feel just pure joy at how strange, weird, and goofy everybody is. It's so great.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, okay, so 2 comment, they're kind of the same comment, and then I have a different one that I think is so funny. So this is for when someone posts something that is really funny, or when somebody does something that's like really clever or like really cool. People are commenting, I hate when people are funnier than me.
Nobody's commenting that on my post. I think that's weird.
And I think that's really funny.
This can't be a trend because nobody's commented on this on my post.
So I think those are really funny. And then also I think, I don't know why this started. I missed the beginning of it, but I've caught in the middle of the trend. Is that people comment on a really funny video and they're like, oh my god, this is so funny, please don't go bald.
What does that mean?
I think it's really funny.
This is not a comment, but this is you'll see why this is. I'm bringing this up in a second. I saw this really funny meme that was like it's 222 right now. That was like, I wish that stress didn't make our hair fall out little by little, and that it was like a build-up thing, and then it just all fell out at once. Like the waitress comes to your table and says, like, we're all out of ketchup, and you just in an instant go bald because it was like the final straw. like all at once it just drops.
You have to start from
And
scratch.
I was like, and then we would all have
Can you
that thing to share
imagine?
with each other, like, yep, this is what, you know, like, what would be your final straw?
This is what did it.
I think, like,
This
my
was
final
it.
straw would be
I don't know what my
like
final straw would be.
when you're at the airport and there's just like adults butting in front of you in line to get on the plane, and I'm like, we all have a seat, and everybody's crowding and like really like panicked, and I'm like, we all have a fucking seat. That would make all my hair fall.
Honestly,
It stresses me out and it makes me mad.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I also really hate when you're standing in line and someone is like so close to you and like you keep
Someone's
inching
literally
up and they
like
keep
breathing down
inching
your
up.
neck,
Like,
and you turn around and you look at them like,
why can I feel
And they're just like-
exactly like why can I
who taught you how to stand?
Oh, they don't do that to me. But we need to have like facial lessons.
No,
with you.
like
You
they
need
do
to
that.
just,
Like you
copy
turn
my
around
face.
looking at them like, what are you
'Cause
doing? And they'll just be like,
most of the time,
oh. I actually
That's what
was
I mean.
thinking
They don't
about
do that
this.
to
I was thinking about
They
this
bet.
because someone said that they had resting bitch face, and I was like, whatever is the opposite of resting bitch face, I have that. Because anytime I'm alone, I'm by myself. I went on
Yeah.
a walk by myself when I was in Hawaii, and I like 3 times I had to dodge people trying to talk to me, and I was like, what do I don't think I walk around like this. I don't think I do, but energetically I do.
I'll have to like observe
I'm
you
like,
from afar.
what am I
like
doing?
next time you come over, I'll have to be like
Yeah.
on the other side of the street.
I'm just
and
like,
just
whatever,
look.
yeah, whatever the opposite of, I have resting, come talk to me face, and I'm getting sick of
Yeah.
it.
I know, and it's so funny because like I don't think that I look like that. Like to me, I look like that. Like I'm
I
like
don't-
I
I
look
don't-
so friendly right
I think
now,
I look like neutral.
and I clearly don't.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but sometimes, usually, if it's like a grown man, sometimes it
Yeah.
takes a couple.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
it's usually
like
men,
if I-
obviously, but like 99% of the time. But I'm still like,
Yeah.
what makes me
But-
so approachable?
I just like that actually really
Yeah.
drives me crazy is when people stand so close to you. Because also like, so what I do, especially like if I'm in the airport and I'm wearing my like
wiggling
big
around
backpack,
a little bit,
I'll
take a
start
little step
swinging
back.
it.
I'll take a step back
Yeah.
and like accidentally like kind of like
Yeah.
nip their toes, and I'll be like, oh,
That's what I
sorry.
do.
That's your fault.
Yeah,
Maybe you shouldn't stand so close.
yeah, idiot.
I'll do it again too if you don't back the fuck up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my go-to move. Just
Swing it around a little bit.
whack them with the backpack. Okay, wait. My other comment.
Ooh, okay.
I think you'll really enjoy this one. This is like if somebody does something really like silly, but it like or like weird, but it's really funny. People will comment on it and be like, "I love whatever's wrong with you."
I did see that one on a post recently, and I thought, that's really nice. I think we could all
think
take
it's really
that
funny.
as an affirmation.
I really enjoy that
I
one.
love whatever's wrong with me. I love whatever's
Yeah.
wrong with me, because there's a
love
lot.
whatever's wrong with
but
me.
We're gonna embrace it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's-
think that one's really cute and
that's
sweet. It
it.
makes me feel a little emotional. I love whatever's wrong with you.
Thank you.
Oh my god, I love it.
How long do you have?
Okay, my silly goofy time. This is a story that happened to me, and I hope I don't know if this is something that you had to be there, but I'm gonna try to set the scene because it was so funny at the
Okay.
time. But I went out to eat like a late dinner at this diner. It was such a cool diner. It's called like Bob's Big Boys or something. Big Boy Bob. I don't know. It was a funny name. There's like a guy in big statue. I don't know.
Okay.
Bob's something. And anyways, it's like a very classic diner. I'm very passionate about diners. I love diners. I love diner food. Love diners, shitty coffee.
I love
like
diners.
Everything.
Yeah.
And this was like old school, like original kind of diner. You know, there's like the counter going around, and they had it decorated with like just like very vintagey, and the booths and whatever. Super cool. And so we're sitting in our booth, and it's like not super late, but it's getting kind of late. So there's just like there's like characters coming in, you know, and I'm I'm with a friend that gets like recognized by people, and so this like really tall older gentleman like kind of like comes up to our table very slowly. He had the energy of, you know, in Happy Gilmore, there's like the really tall guy with like the nail in his head that's in like the audience. When he was walking up, I thought, I literally thought it was that guy.
Same.
That was his energy, okay? And he talked very like slowly and had like a lot of like long pauses in the wrong parts of the sentences that he was saying, and we're just kind of like, you know, he's like, oh hey, like I love your work, whatever. Not to me. And then he's like, oh, that's my son over there, you know, whatever, we're gonna go to bite to eat. So we're like, okay, you know, thanks so much, bye. So it's like an hour has passed, or maybe like 45 minutes, but this little boy, that's the son, comes to the table by himself, and he's walked past like 5 times, like looking at us, and we're just kind of like, hey. And he finally like he comes up to the table, and he's like, he has a really cute speech impediment. He's a kid. I'm not gonna imitate it, okay? but he also talked with the very like his dad, like very slowly, like with very long pauses in all the wrong places. So you're kind of like trying to follow, and you're like, and you kind of want to finish this sentence for him, but we're being so nice. And so he's like, oh, what did you guys have to eat? You know, he's like talking like that, and we're like, oh, you know, I was like, oh, I got a club sandwich, whatever. But then this kid, he starts like touching my food, and he's like, there's this like pepper on my plate, and he's like touching it and rolling it out. He's like, what is this? And he's like picking it up and dropping it, and we're just like, it's so weird. He's like 11. He should know not to touch strangers' food.
Oh, you said like little boy. I was picturing like a 5-year-old.
But he had the energy of a younger boy. He didn't have the social cues or awareness, clearly. He was so sweet, and he was cute, but I was like, I love whatever's wrong with you, buddy.
Love whatever's wrong with you.
But we're keeping it cool and collected. We're not freaking out, you know? We're just like continuing to talk to him. It's like, what is this? We're like, oh, it's a pepper. He's like, whatever. But he's just, and then he's touching I was done eating, so it was okay. That's why we didn't say anything. There's leftovers on my plate. Then he's like, poking my sandwich. We're like, but he doesn't know I'm done eating. And then we're like, oh, like, this was the best. After, we're just like, what is happening? And then he's like, and then, we asked, like, one of us asked, like, oh, like, what do you like to eat? Or what did you get to eat or whatever? And he starts, like, looking off in the distance. He's like, and he pauses for way too long. As he starts to, like, I can only describe it as floating. He starts to float away, and he's like, meatloaf, maybe. And then he just leaves. We were like, maybe. And the way he just, like, meatloaf maybe, and just floated away, and we never saw him again after he like manhandled all my food. I think he had to be there, but we were like crying, laughing. We were like, what was that? And then right after this kid floats away, it felt like we had like entered a circus. Like the energy shifted in this place. We shifted timelines. Then this really tall guy with this giant dog. What?
Different
tall guy with this giant dog.
Different tall guy.
Like one of those like police dogs, like whatever those kinds of dogs are. Maybe like a German Shepherd. Yeah, it's huge. And he's like
a German Shepherd
walking through the diner with it like between his legs. He's not actually riding it, but he's like pretending to ride it, and he like waves at us, and we were like, something changed in here. We need to go. It felt like we were in a circus or something. It was so weird. So we left and everything was okay. But we're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It wasn't crazy late. It was probably
What time
like
was
midnight.
this?
Like kind of late, but
I was
it
gonna
was
say.
a cast of characters.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Anytime like after
It literally
midnight
like it was
in
like
LA, something
it was like
changes.
a dust had descended and like a veil had fallen and we were seeing the reality of
Yeah.
like I don't know, it was or like
Yeah.
yeah, it felt like we had like entered through some weird portal and we were like in a completely different diner. It was so funny. It was hilarious. We were
Oh,
dying.
How I
That was my
miss
silly
you.
goofy time. I had a very silly goofy time at the diner.
Love that.
Okay.
I only have one more. Just because it just happened before we hopped on. I was talking to my aunt. And we go to say goodbye, and she goes, "Okay, I'll talk to you later." And she goes, I don't know why I just said it like that. She was like an
Okay,
old
I'll
lady.
talk
She was
to
like,
you
"Okay,
later."
I'll talk to you later." It's really funny.
You know, I love
I thought that you
having a
would
silly
think that
goofy
was
time
also
with
really
voices
funny.
and characters. I feel very passionately about that.
Yeah.
She's like,
But it was so funny because she said it, and then like immediately
I
after
swear,
she was
like,
like,
once a
"I don't know why I
day,
just
something weird like that comes out of my mouth, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I think a lot of times my brain is in sync with my mouth. Like, I'm not like it's like when you're surprised by what came out of your mouth, you go, "Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened." Like most of the time, I'm in sync. I know it's gonna come out of my mouth, but sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm as surprised as you are." Like stuff like that. You're like, I don't know why I did that, or like I didn't think
Yeah.
that while it was coming. It
I
just
don't
came
know
out.
where
Like I
that
didn't.
came
I wasn't
from.
conscious that that was happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
That
like,
was- That was
a
an
little
odd
weird.
one.
That was a little weird. Okay, I have a PSA, a public Sadie announcement. This isn't very silly goofy, but I wanted to share
Okay.
because I had a friend ask me this, and with everything going on in the world right now with ICE and Gaza and now new bombings from Israel and all of these things, a lot is happening and it's overwhelming, and that's part of the reason why we picked the theme of today's episode. But they asked me because they watch a lot of like Dolores Cannon and other similar spiritual teachers that say similar things to her. And if you don't know who Dolores Cannon is, she's like a channeler, and she talks a lot about like the new earth and ascending into the new earth, and she's really cool. She has a lot of interesting things to say, but some
Okay.
of this stuff is maybe a little bit conspiracy, and if you interpret it certain ways, as a lot of people do, it can unknowingly come off as very ignorant and racist if you don't really think about it. So I don't know if like anyone
Okay.
listening has heard of like people talk about like ascending to 5D or the new earth or things like this.
Yeah.
It's kind of toxic spirituality, because so this friend was asking me, they were like, you know, I was listening, all these teachers say the same thing about, you know, entering the new earth, and you won't go there if you get caught up in all of the negative low vibration things happening on the planet. You won't go there. You won't ascend because it's going to bring you down and it's going to trap you. And the reason this is super racist is because all of these negative low vibration things, quote, happening, that like ICE is affecting mostly like our Hispanic population in our country at the moment, right? They're not targeting like the Irish neighborhoods in New York that have illegal immigrants in them too, right?
No.
And so
Boston, yeah.
when you're saying something
Yeah.
is you can't get involved in it, you can't get caught up in it, or you won't ascend into the new earth, but it's 99% affecting minority groups, then that's just saying all the white people are going to rise up into the new earth and not anybody else. It's crazy if you really think about it. I understand when you're just thinking about it broadly spiritual, how you could be like, get on board with this, whatever. It's not spoken about like that. This stay high vibe and you'll ascend. I don't know if these teachers mean it this way or if it just gets misinterpreted, but I was thinking about this and having this conversation with this friend who was just kind of like, I'm hearing this stuff and it doesn't sit right with me because I feel like so much empathy and hurt and like I need to do something, but I'm hearing like what this sounds like is that I'm not supposed to get involved, right? Which is crazy. To be spiritual is inherently to like have love in your heart and want to help others, right? So I think that the real sentiment that, like, again, I don't know if this is getting misinterpreted or if these teachers, this is what they really mean, but this is how I would interpret these kinds of messages, is that it's to not be completely consumed by like anger and fear due to these things, because we don't do anyone any good by being completely like weighed down by these things. So yes, we're all feeling grief, overwhelm, uncertainty, maybe hopelessness, because it feels like, what could I possibly do to help? But this is going to lead into our topic today. But I think that's what I said to them. I was like, I don't think that means don't get involved. I think it means don't be so consumed by grief, fear, anger that you can't get involved, right? Like that you can't, because when we, I know I had a day where I just felt really hopeless and I just wanted to lay in bed all day and cry and be like, oh my fucking God, what is happening? Our world is ending. Okay, fine. But don't stay there, right? Like do what you can to take care of yourself. And then when you have good boundaries and you find balance when it comes to consuming the news and being informed, but not overwhelming yourself and all of these things, and then you are available and have the energy to do what you can do. And for some people that's protest or call senators or volunteer or donate money or use your voice, or like, and this honestly might be the hardest one, having conversation with like friends and family that have a different point of view and don't fucking get it, that nobody should be like treated these ways. That's maybe some of the hardest work, is honestly on the ground floor with the people in your life having those conversations. So I just, for anyone else that might come across content like that and maybe feel weird about it or put off, I just wanted to offer that, like, I think that's the, I don't know, like, quote, that's my correct interpretation of that. I don't ascribe or subscribe to this like 5D New Earth ascension sort of spiritual stuff, but if you do like to listen to that stuff, it's fine. I just wanted to offer that perspective shift, because we can't be going, oh, I can't get involved, otherwise I won't ascend, I'm just gonna ignore it, especially if we're white. That's not the vibe. That's not what any spiritual teacher means, or that's not what they should mean. That's crazy.
No, I think I agree, and I think that, sorry, I don't think that I agree, but I meant to say I agree, comma, and I think that another thing too is that, like, if you have somebody that you like listening to and they start saying these things, it doesn't mean you need to like
take what resonates,
scrap
with you,
everything,
leave the rest.
right? Like you take what resonates. Like you don't need to like listen to every single coach and like everything that they say, because if there's one thing that I like, at least I've learned, like, just because you like a coach or something like that, or like somebody, you know, spiritual on the internet, it doesn't mean that you have to also take everything that they say, like,
you need
and
to
ingrain it into like your life. Take what feels good, like, or think for yourself. And then also, like, on the other side of that too, like kind of what we were saying before about like about crying, Like, you don't
Yeah.
need to be also happy all the time. Like it's okay. Like, you know, you're not gonna be like punished for
Yeah, you're not gonna mess up what you're
you're not gonna,
manifesting or
you know,
what we've
not
talked
like
about in other
make it
episodes.
to
Yeah.
whatever, yeah, where you want to be. Exactly. And like if you do believe in like ascending or 5D or whatever, like just because you're
Yeah.
like
Or because you
not
want to
happy all the
help people who
time
are
doesn't
getting
mean like
kidnapped
you're
by
not gonna make
ICE.
it there.
You're not gonna
Yeah.
ascend. Huh? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think like when it comes to channelers, we always have to remember that despite the fact that they are channeling, at least a little bit that is getting filtered through their human ego, which we all have, it's impossible to avoid. When I mean, you know,
Yes.
Pam and I both do readings, and we have to put in a lot of practice to not put in our own ego in messages, but it's always gonna, I mean, we're humans, we're
Yeah.
inherently imperfect, right? So that's the thing to remember. And I think, yeah, people that channel this
Yeah.
kind of stuff, they have the best of intentions. They might not see it that way or understand that people are interpreting that way. It's just like, you know, it's just a level of ignorance. And I don't say that in any sort of shameful way or anything at all. It's just like let's wait. It's just like, wait. Let's actually think
Right.
about this for a second. Because if I'm not supposed to get involved and it's, you know, like I said, like 99.9% like minority groups that are getting targeted
Yeah.
with these like quote low vibe things in the world, then who's ascending? And so that, okay, wait a minute, that can't be right. Like that's like that's okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Also, even if it was affecting white people, like even if it was affecting
Yeah.
like the Irish immigrant population, like
yeah,
that
yeah,
still
yeah.
doesn't make it okay
Right.
to like ignore
yeah.
the thing. Not that you're
No,
not
it's just using
saying
a little
that,
bit
but,
of
like,
thinking about it, like,
either
that can't be
way,
right. Wait
like,
a minute.
in
So
just
only...
in
So
yeah,
none of those guys are
that
ascending.
can't be right. Like every like
That can't
it
be
just,
right. That's not the you know, the world I live in, like the God or universe that I would be connected to.
No.
Yeah.
No. It makes no sense. Like either
Yeah.
way, it makes no
So
sense.
we just
Is
gotta
what I was like
use a
trying
little
to
what's it called, critical thinking when we
Yeah.
listen to some of this stuff. So I just wanted to share that because my
Yeah.
friend was asking about that, and I was like, you know, that's a really good, just like topic of conversation to have. Because they were like, it doesn't feel right, and I was like, yeah, you're right, and trust your gut when you hear things too. My other PSA
Yeah.
related to this is I haven't seen it recently, but there's been other times when big things happen in our world that are really horrifying, that there's people post things that are sort of shaming the sentiment of thoughts and prayers or good or sending intentions. And of course, like if we have the capacity to do more than quote just thoughts and prayers, yeah, we should get out there and do it. But I just want to remind everyone that the power of intention is extensively studied and is very powerful. A book I recommend on this is called The Power of Eight. It's by Lynn Taggart, I think. I always say this about these kinds of books. It's a little bit dry, but she did such careful research. Thousands and thousands of studies are done on this, about, you know, sending intentions and the power that we have. And she organizes groups that send intention of peace towards, you know, war-torn countries and things like this. And in those instances, there's too many variables. You can't prove anything. But over and over again, they're shown, like, within a couple months, like, treaties are signed and things get better. And so it's very interesting. So I just want to say, like, yes, if we can do more, like if you can get out there and protest, if you can donate money, if you can, but please, nobody stop sending intentions because they're really fucking powerful. And I hate when I see people shaming that because I'm like, both can be true. Like thoughts and prayers are really important and they do a fuck ton. Actually, it's studied,
Yeah.
it's science. So don't discourage people from doing that. And sometimes I feel like I need to figure out how to do more. And, hey, that's absolutely true, but not in a shameful guilt way. and give yourself credit for if you do a peace spell at home, or you just say a little prayer for somebody, or the situations that are playing out in our world, or these little just positive intentions, or whatever it is. Those are so important, and the world needs them, and your magic in that sense is very, very powerful and very real. So that's my other public Sadie announcement is, don't be shamed or think that that doesn't do anything. It does a fuck ton, especially if we're all doing it. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Did she also do, or is this somebody else, or is this something entirely different maybe that I'm thinking of, but did she also do the power of attention studies?
The
like
power
on,
of 8 is that she would put people in groups of 8, and they were all people with various sort of chronic illnesses, cancers, different things, and over and over and over again.
Okay, so 8 people get around. We're curing my POTS.
Yeah. We should start an intention group
I'm so sorry, please continue.
But it is, they kept, and again, when it comes to like, when it comes to humans and healing, there's so many variables. So it can never be quote like full, like it can never be 100% proven. But the statistics, the data show that consistently it makes a difference. And she has a very specific, that's what the Power of 8 book is about. So she does all of these human trials, so to speak, and then she gets these big groups together to send intentions to like neighborhoods with a lot of violence in them, or places with war and whatever. Those things, they can't be proven, but her statistics, her data shows that improvements every single, like maybe not every single time, but like beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's incredible, the data that comes out of those.
Yeah.
And then she also was going around to all these universities and getting funding for tons and tons and tons of trials that were very controlled with like plants, like setting intention for them to grow, versus the ones that got no intentions, and those ones grew faster and taller and stronger, and everything else was the same. So she also did trials in very controlled environments to show, without it, like to prove intention and the power of intention in that way, while also so it's incredible. I mean, it's crazy. You could probably just like look up the Power of 8 if you don't want to read the book.
It is very cool.
I'm sure there's like interviews, YouTube videos, stuff with her too, if that's like more your speed.
YouTube video.
But it's all there. So it's really important for us to also do that stuff.
Or it's
like,
probably in auto book form.
I just find that I'll undervalue it for myself and feel bad if I'm not doing more than that. And you know, I want to, and I try to, you know, I donate money here and there and do what I can. But you know, it's like you can always argue there's more to do, but we have lives and we have to also balance everything. So I just want to make sure anyone that feels that way, shaming yourself or feeling guilty or whatever, like don't discount that also is very powerful and we need it. And so keep doing that in addition to anything else you have the capacity for.
Yeah. I just put that on Threads the other day too. The same thing, like, hey, like if you don't have the capacity to like go out and protest, like there's so many other ways.
Light a candle, send intention.
Because I can't stand there all day. I mean, unless I get like a rollator, because I'm like, I can't go stand out there. Meanwhile, I'm seeing these like 108-year-olds in their little wheelchairs.
Get a little red wagon.
So like maybe I could find someone to push me around. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. So without further ado, we'll go into our topic, which is really some ways that we can take care of ourselves so we don't burn out in chaotic, troubling times. So we can stay connected, we can stay grounded in our power, and we can do what we can, and we can also still have joy in our life and abundance in our life. And because it doesn't do anyone any good to like self-sacrifice our joy and our own inner peace because there's things going on in the world. It's the best for everybody when we feel good. Yeah, we need your joy and your art and your magic and your power more than ever. So that's what we're gonna talk about today, how we can sort of resource ourselves so that we can keep going in these troubling times. I know I need all these reminders today, so
yeah.
So
I know.
I
Yeah.
made kind of a list, so I thought I'll drop
Yeah.
some different ideas and we can discuss. Yeah. So
Chat about
my
them.
first witchy self-care that I took note of, that's so simple, especially we're in summer here in the US, so easier than ever. Just literal grounding. Just go, has anyone ever left a comment as an insult on any of your posts, or they're like, you need to go touch grass? And I'm like, babe, I do every day. There's no lack of me touching grass in this neighborhood.
Every day. I can't remember if we've even talked about, like, if you live in like Manhattan or anything like that, like, it's a lot harder. Obviously there's Central Park, but not everybody is close to Central Park. Or if you're in like Brooklyn or something like that, there's different parks obviously, but it's not always the easiest to get to on a regular basis. So even just having like plants in your house can help with that. Talk to your plants, like touch your plants.
If you don't have grass, but
really
there are
helpful
trees, even if there's like a little tree, a lot of places, I'm just thinking of New York, walking down the street, you can usually touch a tree. If you put your palm on a tree, that's what like hugging a tree, like that is, it's the same. You're connecting, that tree's rooted. So it actually does the same when they measure the energy, you touching the tree versus having bare feet in the ground, like the same thing happens. So if you can just like palm a tree, it's the same thing too.
No, it's true. Yeah. Or even, or maybe this is not real, you let me know what you think, but if you like go take a shower, put like some salt down on the floor of the shower first and kind of just like put your feet on that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like that's kind of helped me sometimes.
Makes sense. Or if you, I don't have a bath personally, but if you do have baths, or even like tea, connecting to like plants, putting like lavender and rose petals or whatever, like a bath bomb that has like the like little plant pieces in it, in your bath. Or I have eucalyptus hanging in my shower. That's a good way to connect to a plant. But your tea,
me too,
but having like you need some grounding. Go to your local wherever, Trader Joe's or wherever that has plants, and go get yourself a new little plant and just take care of it and like love it and talk to it. And that's a good way to get grounded too. And of course, meditations, visualizations 100%. Where you imagine like your Groots. I am Groot.
I am Groot.
Embody. What I'm saying is embody your inner Groot.
Groot.
And that's my spiritual practice. And okay, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
No, but where you visualize like your roots growing down from like your feet or your root chakra down into the ground. That's always lovely too. So grounding.
Yeah.
Go put your toes in the grass, touch a tree.
Grounding is a very good one. Yes. Yeah. Even like, it's not obviously the most ideal, and you're not going to do this in Manhattan, but if you're like somewhere where the floor is not dirty, like New York City, even like the cement, it's still not like the most ideal, but it's still, you're still on the ground outside. I feel like that.
Take what you can get.
Take what you can get. kind of thing. Don't make it complicated.
The next two I have, Pam is a pro at these. So the first one, cord cutting and energy clearing. Especially like if you were like doom scrolling all of I had a day where I was doom scrolling all of these videos of ICE pulling people away, and I was sobbing. I was like, ugh. So you might need to do like a literal cord cutting with like social media, the news, other people's panic. Like that might be the best thing.
Yeah.
A nice cord cutting, smoke cleanse, shower ritual sort of situation.
I do love a cord cutting. But I was going to say that too, to kind of reference back to our protection episode. Make like a protection sigil on your phone, like I was talking about in that episode, where it's literally like like I do it so like whatever you can put whatever intention you want into it. Sorry, I feel like every time I listen back to these episodes, I'm like, get to the goddamn point.
I've never listened to one. I can't do it.
It's so bad at just like talking. I do it like when I like upload the video again, you know, I like run through it, just not the whole thing, but
that's probably
the pieces of it to make sure that everything's good. But
like, yeah, whatever's there is there.
Well, you know, because I realized that there were a couple episodes where like after we have stopped the record button, it like still recorded a few seconds. I'm like, good thing we are not like shitty people who say, God, like, you know, like
I guess I do watch
like after we
when I make clips, you know, I watch pieces of it, so I guess I do. But
yeah. Anyways, the point, to circle back, is you make a protection for your phone so that like whatever you watch through your phone, whatever you experience through your phone is not like coming out at you.
Yeah, and that was my next one on the list, was like a protection spell or some way to filter through, because it is a hard balance. I really struggle with this of like consuming the right amount of news or the right news to be informed and not ignorant to what's going on in the world, but then not being completely consumed by it. I really struggle with that. And so setting intentions, or like I love like a protection sigil on the phone of just like, please help me find like the right resources to like learn from that, or just have the groundedness and the energetic boundaries to not be like experience this news in a way where I'm like consumed by the empathetic sort of emotions coming through that aren't helpful for me to experience, you know?
Yeah. I think one, to kind of go back to that spell work you were talking about, because I blew past that, but I think that cord cuttings are really helpful for that, and you could do like you just said, protection spell work, and one thing I found really helpful is finding resources that kind of like summarize things. So I'm subscribed to, you know, like Shit You Should Care About, that account.
Post it in the show notes for all of us.
Oh, okay. It's great. Yeah, I'll send it to you. They're from New Zealand, and she just sends out emails. I think it's like, I don't know if it's every day or not, but it's like regular emails about just like, here's like the headlines from kind of like around the world that we should be like aware of, and there's like a little blurb, and then she links out to things. So you're like, if you want to look into it more, same with there's a company called The Skim, and it's like, okay, here's like, if you're gonna skim over the newspaper, like here's what you would find, same kind of thing, and they link out that way. You're like, not I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, it gets into your inbox at 6 o'clock in the morning, and like, you're able to just like look at it when you wake up. You're like, okay, here's what I need to know. What do I need to like, what do I want to like put my energy into now, instead of being like turning on the news and it's just like the same 10 horror stories over and over and over and over again. And like every single news channel is telling you a different
it's all
of
hard
the
to
story.
filter through, and
there's also a website called Left Right Center, and it gives you the same stories written from
that's a good idea.
News sources
really
that are left, center, and right.
That's cool.
So that way you can kind of like get all the information from the left, from the right, from like, you know, center, and
that's
then
cool.
you kind of piece the story together yourself.
Just being mindful of
to me, at least.
Sometimes it's hard even to realize like you're feeling really like heavy, and like maybe even like I get really like kind of almost like lethargic when I like need an energy cleanse, and like kind of just being aware of like, Oh, yeah. I think the world stuff is really affecting me. Like, why don't I light some incense and give myself a little smoke bath, like and then you're like, "Holy shit, I feel so much
Yeah.
better." Yeah, it was
Yeah.
that. So sometimes it's like the awareness of
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm really letting this
Also,
affect me." Yeah, which is normal,
yeah. And
but
go
it's not
outside.
helpful to sit there
Yeah.
and
And go outside.
feel that forever. So whatever you can do to help
No.
yourself.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Open your windows, open the door if you can. If
Yeah.
it's if it's safe for you to open the door. Um, and yeah, just like let some fresh air into your open your blinds. Like that's really
Yeah. Yeah.
big.
Go,
Like
yeah.
let the
Go get
sunlight
some
into your
vitamin D in the
house.
sun if you can.
That's huge.
That always cures me of everything. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I just need to drink
Yeah.
some water and go
Yeah.
out in the sun.
No, seriously. Yeah, even if you can't like, like go touch grass like we were talking about, like literally just go for even if you can't really go for a walk, like go stand outside
That's grounding. That's
for like
energy clearing. That's
3
all the
minutes.
things.
Like
Yes. Yes.
just
So
go
yeah,
outside.
I wrote the notes
Yeah.
like cutting cords, smoke cleanse, shower ritual, just as that water's washing over you, release what isn't mine. I on it
Salt
like yeah, a
scrub.
lot of times I'll just kind of like whisper to myself. I'll be like, whatever energy, like I call my energy back from every corner of the universe, all time, space, and dimension, and I send back, return to sender any energy that is not mine. And I'll repeat that like a couple times, and I often feel a lot lighter after that too, and more like grounded and focused. So that's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. One thing like that I do as well, sorry, just before we get too far, and I forget, I'm running out of space on my little form, my little piece of mail. I'm writing down my thoughts so I don't forget. But one thing like that is also what I will do. So I'll do like I'm releasing all this energy, and then I'll also be like, okay, I call back all my energy. Did you just say this? What did you just say? Okay. I heard
I
something
say
different
I
then.
call
So
back
sorry.
first, and then I just do it backwards.
I don't know what happened. Oh yeah. And I do cleanse and cleared. Yeah. Never mind.
And yeah, then I wrote a sigil, which you can do a sigil for protection. You could do a sigil for peace, for strength, for anything really.
Anything?
Yeah.
I'll link our sigils episode.
Yeah, we talked a lot about like energy protection and stuff in other episodes. So there's lots of stuff for that. The next thing that is great magical self-care, if your feelings off and sort of scattered, pulling some cards, using divination as sort of like a way to like ground back into your own energy, as a sort of guidance for, maybe, I don't know, times like this we can all feel maybe a little bit like, yeah, like lost, like what am I supposed to do, what am I supposed to be doing, can I be doing anything, and so like pulling a card for guidance, like what energy will support me today, or you could just, or journaling, I mean, doing a little meditation and some automatic writing, like what do I need to know, what am I learning about myself through this, or what am I, how am I meant to contribute, my own energy to where I can, what part of my power feels disconnected right now, but just like pulling some cards and just kind of tapping back into the present where your intuition is. I think that can be a good way to just get grounded and feel sort of recentered and like, oh wait, yeah, no, okay, I am powerful, I'm a good person, and I'm not gonna solve all of this all by myself, so I can just take it easy on myself a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes too it's nice to pull cards because sometimes
Yeah,
you need to hear
validation.
something and you already know it, but you're not, yeah, like you already know, but you're not really like, you
Yeah.
don't really know and you're not really like trusting it. And then the cards tell you, like, your guides tell you, your spirit tells you, your
Yes.
deities tell you, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
right.
So
You're
some
right.
divination, having good boundaries and balance. So, this kind of comes, it's connected to protection. It's kind of connected to what we were talking about when it comes to like consuming the world news in certain ways or whatever. But, we've also, you can mute, unfollow, block things on social media as spiritual hygiene. You don't have to watch all of the like really sad videos to be aware of what's going on and be of help in some way, right? So if you need to like, sometimes you can block like keywords that will like block certain kinds of posts from coming to you. That's okay to do. You don't need to feel guilty about being like, I don't want to consume any more videos on this. I'll stay informed about of the situation, but if like you can't watch it anymore, like that's fine. Have good hygiene when it comes to your social media.
Yeah.
Or if there's like, someone you, I don't know, really liked on social media, an influencer or something, and now you're realizing that they have point of views you don't like at all and don't agree with, it's okay to unfollow them. Or even if it's a friend, and muting them, whatever. That's having good boundaries. Love a little visualization to put like a little bubble around us. We've talked about that in other episodes. There's great guided meditations on YouTube for really anything, but there's good ones. I have this
So
one
many
that does it
things,
like
yeah.
puts, I don't know, it's like cleansing your energy, and it puts these bubbles around you, and it like, I always feel very refreshed after, so I'll send it to you to put in the show notes. But there's great guided meditations if you want. You could search like boundaries, or like energetic boundaries guided meditation, and like you could do something like that.
Yeah.
You can do a spell to help me have good boundaries. Your boundaries are really connected to your sacral chakra, so you could research how to work with your sacral chakra if you struggle with boundaries in any sense. But having good balance and boundaries when it comes to the world and your personal life, of course. That's really important at times like this too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
These are really good.
yeah,
And like,
yeah.
I mean, for this kind of thing.
But always we should
I mean,
have good
also in general,
boundaries.
but when
Yeah.
you're just like overwhelmed, yeah. But like when you're like overwhelmed with the world, like it's really, I think we think of boundaries like a lot of the time just like with people, but it's really, I think one thing about boundaries that a lot of people might like mistake is that the
Yep.
boundaries that you set are for
Yeah.
you to uphold. Obviously, if you're like sharing boundaries with people and they're like purposely crossing them all the time, then that's something to
Yeah.
consider. But like, it's also on you to be like, this is what I need, and this is how I need to like be respected.
Yeah.
And if you
I'll give you a good
continually
example of,
let yourself,
an example of a boundary in this situation, okay?
you know what I mean?
So like if I if I see a video come across, my algorithm is pretty good now, but if I see a video coming across of President Trump saying some stupid shit, I get viscerally angry. I want to punch him in the face. Normal reaction, right? So my boundary is not going to watch the videos of him literally talking. Just going to learn what I need to know about the things he's saying and putting out into the world that I need to know about. But I don't need to watch him speaking, doing these things if it's literally making an anger that has lived in me for thousands of lifetimes bubbled to the surface.
Yeah.
And like, that's not useful. Right? So boundaries. Not gonna watch
No,
those.
it's
Gonna
not.
learn what the stupid shit he's
One
doing in other
thing-
ways that are less
No.
emotionally triggering to me. Still piss me off, but I can handle better. Like that's an example of a boundary.
Yeah. Yeah. I also feel that way every time RFK speaks.
Just
I
like
can't
nails
listen
on
to
a
his voice.
chalkboard.
It really is. It's even worse than that. Like, I would rather be trapped in a room with nails on a chalkboard
Oh my
than
god.
have to
So that's
listen
an
to him.
example.
I think it's important to also note, this is just a fact that I love saying, that RFK has a worm in his brain that died because of
What?
like lack
How do
of
they know
nutrition.
that?
So
Is that true? That's a fact? I'm pretty sure. I'm like, wait, this is a
Pretty
fact?
sure it's true. Yes. No, because he like used it in. Wait. Maybe
this sounds
fact
like
check
a
me on this,
cartoon.
but I'm like pretty sure because he like used it in his divorce case on like why he couldn't like support his wife,
A worm in his brain?
and now he's running our health.
My nail is
Anyways,
chipped and it makes it look like my nail is just shorter. I go like this. It's chipped, you guys. It's fine. I just look creepy like this. Like my nail got, or my finger got cut off. It was blending in.
It's fine.
Anyways, if you're watching the video, if you're not watching the video, you're like, what? I just had an internal.
yeah.
The illusion was making my brain glitch, and I was like, oh yeah, my. I was like, was my finger really short? Sorry, off track. Go, let's get back.
Anyways, what else was I gonna say in response to that? Oh, one thing, this is kind of self-care that I've started doing is like every time you have a bad thought about yourself, you have to imagine the thought in Trump's voice. Makes you stop real fast.
I love that.
Negates that thought
I love that. Makes it sound ridiculous.
really quick.
Yeah.
Because you're
it
like,
makes it
"You
sound as
stupid
ridiculous as it
fucking
really
idiot."
truly
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I love that. Life hack.
Yeah.
Spiritual.
Yeah.
Spiritual
Life hack.
Okay. The next one I wrote down, I guess this could be connected to what I said about divination, but connecting with spirit or your ancestors. You know, you could like light a candle for them. You can make a little like ancestor altar. You can ask them for guidance. And I think it's like, to me, this is a way to remind ourselves that like in everyone's lifetime, like crazy shit has gone on in the world. And that's not an excuse to just completely disconnect from it, of course, but just to remember, like, unfortunately, this is like, I don't want to say normal. It's not normal, but unfortunately, this is sort of just like part of human existence. There's shitty humans that just insist on having this level of power that is just unnecessary and fucked up and whatever. And I think like connecting to like our ancestors can be a way to sort of get guidance, but they were probably, you know, living through crazy times too, where they might have felt the way we feel, and just sort of connecting to that like we're not alone in this lifetime or throughout human history in what we're experiencing in a way, which doesn't make it okay or normal or anything. It's just sort of like a reminder of like, this is part of the human experience. And, so just like, like we're not alone, because sometimes we can feel that too. Yeah. Sometimes that's what we need, to just be like, oh,
yeah.
I'm not alone.
Yeah,
we're not
definitely.
alone. And ask for guidance of just like, you know, how, like, I don't know, hey, great grandma in spirit, like what would you have done? How did you, I mean, I think some of the best things we can do is just show up for our local community in times like this, even if we can't make huge things on the grand scale that ripples out, right? It ripples out into the world. The butterfly effect is very real. So yeah, just sort of connecting to ancestors, spirit, asking for guidance, or just like, yeah, like validation, support, that kind of thing. Yeah. And then the last one on my list is just like movement, going for a walk. You know, I love to just like shake, getting one of those little trampolines, jumping up and down on it, shaking your ass to your favorite music.
Shake.
Even like singing. Oh my God. Singing in the car, very healing. Very put on your angry music and just belt it out. You know what? I actually performed all of Hamilton this weekend, and it made me feel a lot of hope. I was like, yeah, you know what? The U.S. has gone through revolutionary times, and we're in it right now. And in that, the sentiment is like, what a time to be alive, that we have this opportunity for things to radically change, and things are worse before they get better. So maybe that's what's happening. And this is going to, you know, we've seen it, you know, the protests and everything. And so it's like, yeah, okay, what if the perspective shift in the thing, they're like, yeah, they're saying like to be alive at this time, like this is amazing and incredible, and there's this like positive revolution. So I can't recommend Hamilton enough at a time like this when we're losing faith in our country. Be like, wait a minute, we're gonna come back from this. Hamilton, could you reincarnate? We really need you, bud. I know you would know what to do. I still say we summon him to into Trump's body and have him take over. Did I say? I think I said that on an episode. That's my plan. I think the witches should summon Alexander Hamilton and have him occupy Trump's body and start taking over. Because I think he would know what to do. He's really smart. I think he would know how to fix all of this.
Yeah.
I stand by that. And that's what I got. I don't know how we would do it, but
thinking about it. Yeah.
If we all came together, maybe we could do something. Or just have him haunt him and scare him into doing better things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little
like
haunting.
In his dreams. Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll come up with a clearer plan. I'll get back to you guys.
Yeah. Why not?
We'll start rallying the witches.
Yeah. That's like a big thing though too, like a lot of I've seen it before, like where on certain full moons or like astrological events, like witches will get together across the globe, because we can do that now, and do like protection spells or whatever for whatever time the time is calling for, which I think is really, really cool. So that's like another thing I think that you can do, and connection and friendship is magic in itself. So I think that is another thing to kind of add to that list, is just like find people to connect with, like talk to your friends, and especially if you have people that are like-minded, that way you're not like getting into arguments or anything like that when you're like needing support and just like genuine connection at the moment. So I think
and the power of intention is amplified in groups. So even if you have just like one other friend that in your where you live that's like a witch too, that you connect on that, like having a little witchy friend day and casting a spell together and sending that intention out. That's and then we feel less alone and we feel more connected, and that's when we're powerful, is when we're not consumed by our fear and we're connecting with each other. So
yes. I'm trying to think of like what else you could do with like stuff even just in your house, or stuff that's relatively inexpensive, is just like you could do we kind of talked about this, but like a ritual bath, like using certain herbs and stuff like in a bath, that is like dedicated to things like that. A lot of that is already in your kitchen.
Yes.
Or just like pretty inexpensive at like herbs and stuff at like a bulk store.
Love it. Yeah, so let us know what your favorite witchy self-care ritual is in times like this, or anytime you feel overwhelmed or disconnected. Comment if you're on like YouTube or Spotify, like drop it as a comment, or you can always DM us or tag us in your tag us. Wisconsin's coming out. Tag us in your Instagram stories.
Like, wow, that's really Wisconsin.
We'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite witchy self-care?
Yeah. I know I get so excited when I get an email that someone commented on our episodes. I'm like, yes.
We love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. So don't be shy. Anything else before we sign off?
I don't think so. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I know I'll hang up and then I'll be like, oh my God, you should do this also. Oh my God. I know that I have ideas too, because I was literally just making a post that I was going to make post next week that's like what to do
Well,
when
we
you're
will
feeling
eagerly await the
disconnected
post.
from your practice. And I know that there's
Giggly
stuff in there,
Witches,
and
we have new episodes every
can't even think
Thursday.
of it right
We're
now.
on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you like to listen, and do us a huge favor and share this episode or your favorite episode with a friend, and leave a review if you are on Apple or Spotify. It's a huge help to us, and we want to spread the word about Giggly Witches. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. And yeah, new episodes every Thursday. I'm Sadie. You can find me at I am Sadie Olson on Instagram, TikTok, and Magic with Sadie on YouTube, where I have really fun guided tappings, a couple meditations, some masterclasses, guided spell work for you on there. And I have a free scripting guide in the show notes for you. Scripting is my favorite manifestation ritual. We do it every month together in the Coven, which is my monthly manifestation membership, which I would love for you to join. We do my signature scripting method, and then we also do a spell. Last month we did a sigil. We explored different sort of rituals and magical methods to manifest. What I love about the membership is that we do the magic, we do it, the energy work, and then we also are very practical and grounded, and we come up with the practical steps that we are going to take each month, so that we can kind of scale down our biggest, juiciest goals and dreams into the step-by-step that we're going to make to happen. So it's very fun. I'd love to see you there. And I also have readings and private coaching at the moment, so you can learn all about that in the show notes. I have a lot of creatives, writers, artists, moms. I have been having lots of moms working with lately, comedians, people writing TV shows, very cool stuff. So my private coaching is definitely great if you have a huge creative project you want to bring into existence and you need to help doing the energy work and breaking down the practical steps to that. That's what I do in my private coaching. Pam, what do you got going on?
I am Pam, and you can find me at Velvet Snake Oracle on TikTok and Instagram, and also YouTube. Once I get that going. I mean, it's up there right now if you want to just be ready for it once the first video goes up. And what am I doing? I have psychic mediumship sessions. Those are the Veil Walker sessions. Those are really fun for me. We connect with your spirit team, or we connect with your loved ones, or a combination of the two. And then I also have death and rebirth sessions, which are really, really cool because we like really deep dive into any like blocks or limiting beliefs or anything like that that are holding you back from whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. And we do a card pull on it, and then we do some EFT tapping and some energy work. So that is really fun. It's really like getting to the root of it. It's more of a like, that way we're not, just like pulling cards and I'm like, okay, good luck, see ya. We're really like getting into the nitty gritty of it with the energy work, seeing where energy is stuck, and working on that together. And then
Yay.
That's it for now. I was going to talk about spell
Coming
work,
soon.
but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hold off for now.
Well, stay
Coming
giggly,
soon.
witches. What?
Coming soon to
What?
own on DVD and video. Do you remember when before every single movie
Soon to
it would be like coming soon to
Soon to
own
VHS.
on DVD and video?
Oh no, how old are we? I just realized that I'm almost another year older. I don't know if I'm ready to be. Okay, 33 isn't. I was like, I'm still in my early 30s, even though it could be, it's the liminal space between early and mid.
Yeah.
But I'm turning 34 in 2 months, and I'm like, oh no, now I'm in my mid 30s, and I'm having a little bit of a complex about it. I don't know why. I'm like, when I turned 30, I was like buzzing. I did not have the 29 to 30 dread at all, which is very common. 34, I'm struggling with a little bit. I'm like, oh no, I can't be 34.
Me either.
Anyways, I don't know. Wait, why did I just think of that? I don't know. Oh, because I said the VHS. So I was like, we're old. Anyways,
because I
stay
said
giggly
VHS.
witches.
Yeah.
Take good care of your energy. Let us know your favorite witchy self-care ritual, and we'll see you next week. Bye. I'll see you later.
I'll see you later.
34-year-old grandmother. Wait, stop. It won't stop. I'm clicking it.